morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to another Money Morning Routine. Okay, a lot of things happening because I was technically supposed to go to the bank on Thursday or Friday. I can't remember which day it was, Thursday or Friday, and I forgot. And so I ended up going to the bank. Oh, it was Thursday. I ended up going to the bank on Friday, and then I literally didn't stuff any of my cash envelopes. So I'm going to be showing all of this. So let's go over here to my checking account. So on 5/1, which is the day I closed out my budget, started my May tracking period, I had a transaction came out. I just signed up for another 25K trail race. And that was $136 registration that came out. That brought my balance from 540 down to 403.49. Then on 5/2, which was Friday, I went to the bank. I did my paycheck. I pulled out cash from my envelopes, money to pay grandma. Here's another thing. Do you remember that $323 that I did not spend from my previous budget's cash envelopes? So for April, I had let me show you. These are May's, but usually I have my cash envelopes that I use for variable spending. Well, in April, I had $323 that I did not end up spending. So I wanted to roll it over into May to replenish my checking account cushion. And here's what this looks like. Okay, so the $323 is tracked here on my cash starting balance on my expense tracker. But remember, I put it in the bank. So it also increased my checking account balance, correct? But technically, it's a transfer of money. I'm not spending the money. I'm just transferring it from my cash envelopes into my checking account. And what do I say about tracking your spending? You want to focus on tracking the spending of your money, not necessarily the transfer or movement of money, from transferring from maybe your envelopes to your checking account, like in this case. So just like I put a line through my envelope transaction here, I pulled out $14.10 in cash. We're going to get to that. I have that right here to stuff May's envelopes. I pulled out $14.10. I put a line through it that says don't count. And this is just a reminder to me to say, hey, this affected your overall balance, but don't use it to track your spending, because when you close out your budget, because the tracking of all this cash is going to be happening over here on your cash expense tracker. So you don't want to double count it. So the same thing goes when I rolled over cash from my April cash envelopes into my checking account. It's just a transfer, a movement of money. I'm not going to count this transaction when I close out my budget because it's already included up here in my starting balance. So it affected my balance though, right? And so I just put a line through it just as a reminder, hey, it affected your balance, it increased your checking account balance, but you're not going to use that transaction when you close out your budget at the end of your tracking period at the end of the month. So Spotify came out, allowance came out for James, and garbage came out for $196. So if we go back to my May budget, so a couple of different things happened. So $7,200 paycheck and $323 happened. That was my inflow for the month. That actually happened. Now James's allowance happened. Okay, Spotify came out for $12.96. So write that down in the actual column of my budget. Garbage came out for $196.14. So write that down. Okay, do you see though how, right, these things are coming out and I am writing them down. All right, so we also have Eileen for $180. So I'm writing them down in filling this actual column of my budget. This is how I see what bills I have I know are coming due that haven't happened yet. All these blank spaces. Rather than using a bill tracker, I can just quickly see on my budget what bills I still have left to come out to May. Well, it's all these blank spaces. All right, so cushion happened as well. So $413, which was $90 that I budgeted for May, plus the $323 that I rolled over from April. That equals $413. That happened as well. So right now that looks like all of what it's actually happened. Now let me share with you what hasn't happened yet. One, I haven't stuffed my envelopes. We're going to do that today. Also, I have not made any transfers to any of my different savings goals any of my different sinking funds, all of my different savings goals that I do online transfers for. I still have to move $450 for Dante into our joint account. So I need to do that today. I'm going to do that today. Once I do that, you're going to see sinking fund savings and different transactions here. So let's go over the cash for my cash envelopes. Okay, now what's going to make this really confusing is because I didn't stuff I had the cash in my wallet when I went to the bank on Friday, but I didn't actually stuff them in my envelopes, but I used some of the money. How confusing is that going to be? And I don't have a receipt, but I remember what it was for. I got some snacks at the bowling alley and the vending machine only took cash. It didn't take card. Or else I would have just used my debit card. So we're gonna work this out. So here we go. I'm just gonna pull up my cash envelope teller slip for May, so I know where my money cash needs to go. So I need 9 $100 bills for food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wherever that is. Okay, it's right here. So $900 for food. That has been stuffed. Next thing, fun. It is 100 and 110. Okay, this is where I spent the money. Okay, so I have a 5, a 6, and a 7. So I have 107 in my fun. Okay, so let's grab my fun envelope. Now my budget was 110. I spent a couple of dollars at the bowling alley. So I need to track that. So fun, 110. Now I would say it was probably 5 for bowling alley minus. So I only have 107 left. I mean, I spent $3 on some snacks, leaving me 107. Now I need to track this in my cash expense tracker as well. So I'm going to set that aside, but that's been stuffed. Okay, the next thing, beauty, one $100 bill. Okay, so I'm going to get this. I'm going to grab one $100 bill, stuff in there. Okay, so beauty has been done. Next one, household, $100. So grab another $100 bill, stuff my $100 bill into my household. So that has now been stuffed. Next, miscellaneous, $50, one $50 bill for miscellaneous. Stick that in there. So that has been stuffed. Okay, pets, $50. Here's another $50 bill. Pets has now been stuffed for my cash spending for pets. Now, I have $100 bill left, and that is for our homestead for hay. It's an ongoing sinking fund that I have in my life, so I'm going to stuff that. And that is for hay. So write that down. So 5, which is technically my May paycheck. I'm adding $100, giving me $100 balance because we spent all of it on 4/26. So we had $200, I spent $200, and now I'm replenishing it again with my May paycheck for $100. Now, that needs to be tracked on my expense tracker for cash. So if we go over here to my cash expense tracker on 5/5, hay savings for $100. Okay, done. So that's on my cash expense tracker now because I have to track what I'm doing with this cash, remember? Remember, I put a line through it that said, I pulled out $14.10, which included the $100 for hay. I put a line through it that said, don't count this. So I have to track the cash somewhere. It's going to be tracked on my cash expense tracker. So now hay is done. I'm also starting my 5th savings challenge in the Budget Mom Savings Challenge Volume 1 book. It's called 2 for the Money. I'm really, really proud of myself. So far, if we go to the beginning, I have saved quite a bit of money. And you say, oh, I saved $55. It's not that much. But when you do it for 12 months, it does add up to something. It's something, whether it be a fun day trip, just for a day with your kiddo. Every little bit helps, but more importantly, you're teaching yourself the healthy habits, small actions that lead up to big change, big success. So I always tell people, don't focus so much on the number. Focus on the habit that you're building and the action you are taking. Action and habit, and a little bit of fun as well. So I'm going to start that today as well. And that is my Monday morning routine.